Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to today's Raw Opinions video. These are your thoughts, your theories, your opinions. We did change the graphic, the logo, just temporarily for this second channel, and it seems to have resulted in people having more confidence in leaving their comments. Past few weeks we've been getting about 13, 14 responses. Now we've had 50. Which is absolutely brilliant, and long may that continue. So, yeah, I'm guessing it's this change here. I'm not sure, but it seems to have worked. So, very good. Let's go all the way down, shall we, and work our way through this. It might take us a little bit of time to kind of get through all of this, but time is something we have, so that is fine. Right, let's start with Nicole. She said, I enjoyed it. I think the crowd seemed too quiet, but I think everyone compares the crowds to Backlash nowadays. Overall, I think it was a good Raw episode. I think there's something to that. I mean, I would say I think this was still a flat crowd. I mean, that main event, they were just sat there really on their hands. You could make the argument that this was a go-home show and there really was not much for them to get their teeth into. And I don't think that would be unfair. I agree there is a new benchmark with that Backlash crowd. I do agree with you on that. I just think this was also a bad crowd. I do think that this crowd was still not as lively as other crowds that we've seen, even if you take Backlash out of the equation. But I do agree that Backlash has now set a new benchmark. And you do expect, I think there probably is more of an expectation of there being noise from the crowd, you know. But I do think that you can compare this to a lot of crowds and it will still be a flat crowd. But then we have to be honest, you know, this was not the most exciting of shows in places. I really enjoyed Lyra Iyo seemingly more than other people. Normally I'm like there or thereabouts with everybody, but I enjoyed it more than what the community scored it. And I looked at a couple of other reviews online, and they were so-so with the match. They said it was fine. They gave it a passing grade, but they weren't like really into it. I think I was really into it more than other people. I think I just really enjoy watching Lyra Valkyria go about her work. I love her selling. I think, like, you know, she's screaming out in pain. She really puts everything into her matches, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Lyra. I think Lyra does amazing work. So, and Iyo, I mean, Iyo's one of the best, isn't she? So, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Bron and Ilja, of course. That was the highlight. Outside of that, though, there wasn't really too much to get your teeth into other than the Liv stuff, I thought. So maybe they can be excused for that. Maybe if the show had a little more to it, maybe then they would have been a bit more vocal. So, I don't know. Difficult one, but yeah, I think they were flat. Alex said, good Raw, crowd was terrible. Should have been me in Dominik's position with Liv Morgan. I think Dominik is at Liv's hotel room as we speak. That's been a session. Isn't that? That's like coming up to 24 hours later. That is... I can potentially see Dijak joining Finn, Dominik, JD McDonough, and Liv, whilst Damian and Rhea turn babyface. 7 out of 10. I would love Dijak to get involved in that. I think that'd be awesome. Aaron said, I thought Breaker versus Dragunov was an incredible match. I agree. It felt like a PLE quality match that could easily main event the show. And it reminded me of classic Monday Night Raw matches that I always look back on. Super fresh and a reminder of a bright future for both. I love that comment and I left a like on it. I've only got about 10 likes that I can use in a day. I've still got Twitter restrictions. If you didn't hear, we did a big kind of drop a message on this and I'll follow you back, and it had crazy reaction. We had over 1,000 comments and it resulted in my Twitter being not suspended, limited is the words. Limited likes, limited follows. I've been told I can only do so much a day at the moment because they think I'm a bot. I followed that many people the other day. So hopefully those restrictions get lifted by the end of today, and then I'm back, baby. But yeah, I've used one of my likes on that right there. John said Dom might be in a bit of trouble. What if Liv Morgan has got a jealous boyfriend that debuts a group promising a massacre next Monday? They're not together anymore, I don't think, unfortunately. It would be very interesting if they were. But even if they were, would they have Uncle Howdy in a relationship with, like, Liv? She'd have to, like, join up with the group, wouldn't she? So, yeah, I don't think... Well, she's claimed that she's single. She's claimed that she's single, so do with that whatever you will. But I don't know, obviously, if that's true or if they're just trying to put a bit of distance. Because it would be a bit weird, wouldn't it, Uncle Howdy, and then people starting to talk about Howdy and Liv. So it could be a bit of strategy. It could be that she's gone out to say, no, I'm single, we're not together anymore. As a way of just putting a bit of distance when this new character debuts. Maybe they are still together, but she says that she's single, so I don't know. I would say that I would not expect there to be anything there, but we'll have to wait and see. John Elite said the Dom Liv Judgment Day story gets interesting by the week. The pop that Otis is going to get when he finally turns on Chad is gonna be thunderous. Crowd seemed dead during the show. Sam said Edge really did rub off on Judgment Day. Also, where the flip is CM Punk? I believe he's training. I mean, I have seen footage of him in the gym doing reaction tests, working different muscle groups. He's on his way back. So I would expect, I mean, I think he's going to get involved this weekend. And we don't need to go down that path because that's a whole can of worms, isn't it? Should he get involved? Shouldn't he get involved? I mean, I think that Drew for months has been antagonizing CM Punk. We know they don't like each other. And I think there's a good chance we see Punk in Scotland interfering in the match. And to be honest, even if he doesn't interfere... even if it's a case that Damian somehow gets the win clean, which I don't know that I can see that, but I think CM Punk will be there to gloat. I think CM Punk will be there, you know, maybe guest commentator, something like that, and then there'll be a confrontation afterwards. Somehow I think we're transitioning to Punk, Drew, as we kind of really go to the next stage now of that feud as we head towards, I'm guessing, SummerSlam. I know we've got Money in the Bank. I think we've got Germany as well. We've got a couple of shows coming up before SummerSlam. But it's got to be SummerSlam, surely. Surely. This match feels too big to do it anywhere else. But, yeah, I feel like he's on his way. Matthew said, I'm interested in the Uncle Howdy debut. We all are, Matthew. Brandon with a laughing face emoji. Seemed to really enjoy Raw. Brandon, shout out to you. Massachusetts said, I hope Ilja and Bron feud for the next 10 years. Again, we all do. Donald said, Dom's wife must be really understanding to allow that to happen. Do we think we get a QR code Saturday? Maybe. And the first time the audience is involved with the QR codes. That's where we see Bo and Nikki. Yeah. Typical go home 6.5. Yeah, I think that's fair. I was around 6.25, I think I was. So, yeah, I'm with you score-wise. In regards to this weekend, QR code, obviously, I think is right to expect. But we might be seeing the end game now, the end phase of Nightbirds. And now it's just about making sure everyone knows next Monday. I mean, for anyone that's in any doubt, there's a flipping countdown clock, you know, that's counting down. So, and it ain't counting down to Clash at the Castle. So the word on the street is obviously Nikki and Bo are expected to be at Clash at the Castle. Again, I've got that from Tom Colohue, and again, he has made it very clear they are not saying they will be on the show. They're just saying that they are expected to be there backstage. So I want to make that as crystal as possible so that people don't get upset if we don't see them, right? So I don't know what quite to expect with that, but there is a chance that we do see them actually coming out at Clash at the Castle, even if it's just briefly at the very end, as a way of hyping up Raw, as a way of going, oh my God, what's, you know, what's this? and then maybe show comes to an end, and it's like, what's just happened? What's just happened? Then, of course, you'll get the fan footage that shows they just headed to the back, nothing happened. And then, of course, everyone's going to be hyped for Raw. So it could just be something like that, you know? Or it could be a QR code and we just don't see them. So it's very difficult to know what we're going to do there. But either way, I'm excited, and I'm sure you're all excited as well. Creative Face said, I didn't get home from work to watch the entire show. I did catch the highlights, though. Liv Dom is... really? Just waiting for Rhea to get back and end this. Ricochet looks like he's done. Hell of a way to exit. It was kind of okay for a go-home. That was a great exit, wasn't it? That was a great exit. I thought what they did with the ambulance and everything. Yeah, I agree. Harry said, Balor grabbing that hotel card to show Liv what his inner demon is all about. A shout, I reckon, don't you? Listen, I don't want to think about that, Harry. I don't want to think about that. Isaac said, Raw was overall a good show. Ilja Bron match stole the show. Plus the QR code is what I expected. Hopefully we get more on Friday. Wicked Dust said, as much as I can't stand Dom, his storyline with Liv is the best thing on Raw at the moment. He's one of the luckiest people on the planet. Not only is his wife in real life hot as hell, but he has Liv rubbing up and straddling him. How does a douche like that get so damn lucky? He's just worked it out, hasn't he? I mean, he's just worked life out. I mean, it helps being Rey Mysterio's son, of course, but... you can only play the cards that you are dealt, and I think we can all agree he has played those cards very well. So all you can say is well done, young man. That's all you can say. Sean said, I'm enjoying the Liv Judgment Day story. Hotel room key bit wasn't on my bingo cards. The QR code was simple, and I'm good with that. The crowd was weak, in my opinion. I'll be sad to see Ricochet go, but I understand the reason. I'm not big on Lyra. Really? Really? Why? Why aren't you big on Lyra? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just interested. I really like her. I think her selling's very good. She's got a good move set. She seems to lay in with what she's doing. I like her kicks. Striking in general's pretty good. I thought her matches during Queen of the Ring were really good. And you can tell they're pushing her, I don't want to say as that Becky replacement, but as that Becky replacement in a way. You know, she is the token Irish girl. And so she's kind of in the mix. She's really, you know, think about where she was when she was in NXT just a month or so ago to where she is now. I mean, they've really got behind her. So it's interesting that you don't quite... gravitate towards her. Otis' turn will be epic. Do you know, just going back to that hotel room key comment, I love that bit because I don't know about you, and maybe I'm going to say something controversial, but I do find the R-Truth stuff to have gone stale. There's only so many times you can do the confusion thing. You know, he did that and it was spaced out, really. I mean, you didn't see R-Truth every week. So him getting like all mixed up and confused, I kind of feel like Miz oversells it all the time as well. I think Miz isn't helping because Miz to me goes too big with his, what? No, that's not. I kind of feel like a little bit like how Randy would sell Riddle's thing. You know, Randy didn't get worked up when Riddle was getting all confused. Randy was just like, oh, here we go again. And I think if you've been around R-Truth a lot, you would just be like, this is what he's like. I don't think you would be kind of doing what The Miz does. The Miz kind of is still getting exasperated by it, you know? And I just kind of feel like it's run its course for me. So the hotel room thing where... there's panic. They're like, what do we do with this? What's this situation? Seeing them trying to work that out, and then of course Finn Balor takes it, pockets it. Like that to me was entertaining. It was fun. It was different. Was it a bit silly? Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Was it? I think maybe it is. I mean, she's single and she's trying to break the Judgment Day apart and she's trying to seduce Dominik. So we're watching her go about that. And I just think this is really good, really interesting. Maybe a bit far-fetched, maybe a bit silly. Maybe she wouldn't be going about it this way in real life. But I think it doesn't matter. It's a TV show and it's fun. It's fun. And you take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, for me, that provided some entertainment where maybe the R-Truth thing's just sort of running its course a little. I did like, actually, this week's R-Truth thing, though. Again, I thought Miz oversold it, but him confusing AOP with APA, that's pretty good. Him thinking he spoke to a fortune teller, that person turning out to be Scarlet, right? And she had used R-Truth's confusion against him. Like, she had pretended to be a fortune teller and, found a way of getting a tag title match as a result. So she obviously had kind of used R-Truth to get that title match for AOP. And I suppose in a way, all things considered, it was one of the better segments for him. But yeah, I think for me, we just got to be a little bit careful with the R-Truth stuff, because for me, we had that great moment at WrestleMania. Title reign has been okay. I think that it's sort of run its course. It wouldn't surprise me if the segments and the YouTube views aren't as strong or aren't as well received as they kind of were. I loved it when he thought he was in the Judgment Day. I mean, all of that was great as well, wasn't it? So we'll have to see what comes up next for him. But yeah, the hotel room key bit was strange, but I loved it. Chris Sullivan said, love what they're doing with Liv and Dom. I'm waiting patiently for Otis to snap on Gable. Most of all, I just can't wait for Howdy and the Wyatt 6 to debut. Esmeralda said that Liv Dominik moment after Zelina pushed Dominik. It now depends on the person's imagination. I still think Judgment Day still thinks of different crazy ways to interfere in Drew and Damian. I do hope that someone helps Drew fight off other Judgment Day members. Okay, so you think it will be Judgment Day that get involved? I'm not against that. I'm not against that, because you could understand them getting involved and then Damian getting upset. So I'm really not against that. I do think that CM Punk will be there to laugh at Drew, though. I do think that maybe that's a better way of booking it, actually, rather than CM Punk getting involved, because it is messy, him getting involved. I do agree. Even if I think it'll play well to the rest of the world, it will not play well in the room where you've got all the Scottish people. So maybe Judgment Day finding a way of still getting involved. Judgment Day are banned from ringside. Technically, Carlito is not Judgment Day. So is it actually that we're going to be seeing Carlito get involved this weekend? Food for thought, innit? Cameron Wrestling said, I'm willing to bet next week we'll start to see the cracks massively start showing in JD, Judgment Day, when Liv shows that CCTV footage of who visited her. Excellent. I think we see CCTV footage as well. I mean, we know there's a hotel room key. We know there's something that's going to go down there. You're going to want to show footage. You're not going to have a camera crew. So it's just not that kind. She's not that kind of girl, right? So, yeah, I think CCTV makes a lot of sense. Brady said, the crowd was terrible tonight. It's impossible to be dead silent for Ilja Bron match, but somehow Toledo, Ohio did it. I'm excited for the debut of Wyatt 6. Looks like they will start off next week's Raw, according to the countdown. I don't know if the countdown is counting down to their arrival, or if the countdown is just counting down to the start of the show that they're going to arrive on. I think the count. I would take it with a pinch of salt that they're going to be starting the show, just because I think that the purpose of the countdown is, I think, to make sure you know when to expect them. So, for example, people might expect them for Clash, and a lot of people did. And hopefully now those people are looking at this countdown clock going, got you. It's Raw. And so it counts down to Raw. So I can't say that I'm expecting the group to debut at the start of the show. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying I think the bigger message is it's Raw. It's the 17th. It confirms that. And the other thing as well is that if you've got a group like this, just like Bray, really from a booking point of view, it doesn't make much sense to do them at the start, because then you get all your ratings and people then go after. If people want to see this group, you leave it as late as you can, just like we did with Bray when he debuted right at the end of Extreme Rules. So I feel like it would, from a booking point of view, be unlikely that they open the show, but we'll have to wait and see. I you know, the countdown clock points to Raw, doesn't it? It points to Raw. We'll take it from there. Howdy's gonna get you said, Lucky Dom, I think Liv's Funhouse might be better than Bray's. I agree. I was expecting a bit more sauce since it's a go home Raw. Is that maybe since? Bit more since it's a go home Raw. But Howdy's appearance, maybe Howdy checking into Liv's hotel. I'm not sure we get that. Missy said, I absolutely love this show. I don't understand why people didn't like it. The matches, if they watched them, were great. The 6-man tag match was so much fun. Drew Finn match was incredible. And I loved the backstage segments with Drew and Sheamus. This was an easy 9.5. Wow. Missy absolutely loving it. Bailey said it was a good show, and I think Liv practically riding Dom shows that WWE isn't going to be PG much longer. Chris said it was great. I'm Just Ken said, I freaking love the Liv Dom story. It's so messy and absolutely wild, but I love it. Overall, I thought it was a solid episode of Raw. Crowd was ass, but the matches we got tonight were solids. R.I.P. Ricochet. Man got compromised to a permanent end via real glass. Real glass. Watson said, so we get Ilja versus Bron, and we get dry humping on this episode. How does a show get better than that? Where was Adam Pearce? There was a lack of boldness on this show. We did need more boldness. WWE Ethan said, sorry, I didn't watch, but I'm just here supporting. Keep going, Dave. Thank you, Ethan. Challenger Dark said, I'm so sad about Ricochet leaving. He's my favorite wrestler. Oh, imagine that. Imagine your favorite wrestler leaving. Oh. And I've been following since 2014. I don't watch AEW, but if he was to go there, then I would stop watching. Hype for Clash. Liv Dom's story is Fyre. You're the man, Daze. Challenger Dark, shout out to you, my friends. Yeah, wow. Imagine your favorite wrestler leaving. That's difficult, man. So thoughts with you at this very difficult time, my friend. Ethan said it was really good. Liv Dom's story is getting really interesting, and now Finn is shake my head involved in this. Amazing. Ricochet will return. That's my prediction. I don't see WWE losing their best high flyer that they have. Also, the QR code was interesting. Now that leaves us with what will happen at Clash. Drew defeated Finn. JD banned from ringside. Now it's really looking like Punk is going to cost Drew. Let's hope not. Triple H, please let him have his moment. Can't wait to see this dominance of power. Wyatt 6 arrive. Overall, 9 out of 10. Yeah, Punk costing Drew. I think that's definitely on the cards. I think there's definitely potential for that. I do like what was mentioned earlier about Judgment Day still finding that way. I do wonder if that actually plays better, because we know they are out and out heels. Dominik's a heel, Finn is a heel, Carlito is a heel. So I am actually leaning that way, believe it or not. I am actually thinking that does make a bit more sense, but I don't know. I definitely don't think Drew leaves as champion. I definitely think there's going to be something that happens there. We'll have to wait till Saturday to find out what it is. C121S said it was good. Liv and Dom got even more heated. The QR code is amazing. Can't wait for June 17th. And the main event was good. The crowd was good also. Ambulances. Ricochet got killed. Check on this man, please. Otis is slowly losing his mind and will attack Chad soon. Overall, good show, said CI21S. Ian said, I'm slightly confused having watched Raw. Why did Zelina attack Liv when Liv was distracting Dom, the team that they were facing? Have I missed something obvious, or does it make no sense? I think, to be honest, it was a case that Liv came down, and it's true, she was distracting Dom. But I don't think that the LWO want any outside interference. Like, I think they feel like they had things under control. I think they felt like, you know, we don't need this happening. Like, this could help us, but it could equally at some point, you know, it could be an LWO member that ends up getting knocked into Liv and then they lose the match. It's an element that's outside of their control. So control it. And the way you control it is by going, get off the ring, right? We're having a match here and we're backing ourselves to win this match as well. So I kind of took it that way, that they were, you know, in the match, feeling good, backing themselves for the win. And now here's something that could go against them, actually, unless you deal with it. So they dealt with it. I do agree, the optics look a little strange because obviously she was trying to get Dominik's attention. But, you know, as we said, it would only take Ray to get thrown into Liv. Ray then goes down, rolled up 1, 2, 3. You know, there was an opportunity there for them to suffer as a result of Liv's presence. Need T20 said Raw was good. I was disappointed with the story involving the QR code on Monday. I'm still a fan and I can't wait for next Monday, but I love the story better before King and Queen of the Ring. The QR codes made more sense to me, said Need T20. NS Mommy said Bron was awesome. Logan James, hello, my friends. Great Raw. My rating is going to be about an 8.2. And there it is. Thank you, Ricochet, for an incredibly memorable run in WWE. I hope Ricochet joins TNA. And damage control has to change, is what Iyo said. Do we think Dakota and Kai return on Iyo? I think Dominik will catch up Liv and Finn at the hotel room. And I think Julia, Roxanne at NXT Heatwave. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE are doing Open, Forbidden Door, NXT, TNA, and Marigold. What do you think? Well, I don't know how much you bring Marigold in, just because I feel like there's a lot of women there that we just don't know. I mean, the difference is TNA, there are people that watch that. I mean, who watches Marigold? It's going to be a tiny number. I mean, it might be like 10,000 people. I don't know the actual number, but it's going to be next to nobody. I think that you have got to be really into that to be aware of that. So I think that a lot of the women they've got, I mean, I couldn't tell you any of the roster outside of Julia. I couldn't. So I think that you can't really bring in loads. You could maybe bring someone over and advertise them as, you know, the biggest star in Marigold, and bring them over and maybe do a match between them and Roxanne, and you could get away with that. I don't know how hyped people would be for that, because it's hard to get hyped about someone you just don't know. And as I said, really don't think that Marigold is on that many people's radars. It's different with TNA. TNA's viewership's a good couple of 100,000, I believe. And people know the likes of Josh Alexander, for example. So I feel like there's... I think the partnership with Marigold will be limited. We will send people over. And actually, I heard Iyo is going to Marigold's. So we will send the odd person over. They will send the odd person over. I don't know that it extends beyond that. TNA, I think we could do that kind of NXT versus TNA show. I think we could do that. I think that would be really fun. I think that would be very well received. I think going down their roster, there's a lot of talent in TNA. And I don't know that that's like the end goal. I think there'll be a lot of, you know, we send people over, they send people over. There'll be a lot of that. And then eventually we get to this kind of big showdown. Maybe we do that at Survivor Series, which would make sense because historically Survivor Series is Raw versus SmackDown. So I don't know what NXT show is around Survivor Series, but whatever NXT show is around Survivor Series, that NXT show we do NXT versus TNA. We wouldn't do it at the main roster level, but maybe we do it around that level. So yeah, lots to digest there. I think some really interesting thoughts. Damage control has to change. I don't know. I don't know where that leads. They need to change. I don't know that she's particularly blaming Dakota or Kyrie. I think it's a collective, you know, maybe their attitude needs to get a bit more extreme. Perhaps they need to be a bit more violent. Perhaps they need to be a bit more authoritative. Perhaps they have not kind of stamped their mark on the roster as much as they should have or used to. Perhaps that's the change rather than changing members. I don't know. It's a very interesting one. So I like that comment, Logan. Tribal Chief said, stack Raw, in my opinion. Loved the main event of Bron Ilja. It was awesome. They're really making Bron a destroyer. Really excited about the QR codes. Can't wait to see them next week. Hoping that Drew wins at Clash. Love the videos. Keep it up, said Tribal Chief. Tribal Chief, shout out to you, buds. Main said, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. PG era is over. Wrestling fan since day one said the crowd was bad. The Bron Breakker match was fantastic. Match of the night for me. Liv and Dom going to announce they've got a baby on the... Oh my god. Daze is the greatest streamer in my book. Carlito face when he saw the hotel cards. Wrestling fan since day one. Appreciate the kind words. Leaping Lucha Larry said it was pretty good for a go-home. Nice utilizing of Ricochet's exit to give Bron a little extra momentum. But a lot of in-ring tonight was mediocre. QR code was pretty much filler to get us through to next week. Once we start building towards Survivor Series or SummerSlam, we'll be back on track. Probably SummerSlam. Word of Wrestling said, I genuinely thought the way they ended Ricochet's career with WWE was wrong. It's confusing. He is amazing, and he didn't get a push, so he asked for his release. Instead of trying to keep him, they get Bron Breakker to finish him through a car, and Samantha Irvin crying. I think he was done, though. I think they tried behind the scenes to keep him, couldn't do it, and so that's it. He's gone. So how do you write him off? How do you say goodbye? How do you end the Ricochet run? You know, you might as well, if you've got someone that's leaving you and is going to go to a different company, you might as well have them put over one of your stars on the way out. I mean, I've said this quite a few times. I really mean it. I'm a big believer that when you are a wrestler and you get to the end of your career, you lose your last match. It's the final way of giving back. If you're someone like, say, John Cena or Roman Reigns, think of all the people that have laid down and allowed you to pin them so that you can further your career and keep climbing and keep growing. Well, one of the final things that you can do is to lay down and put someone else over. And so I sort of feel like that's what you do on your way out. Not everyone subscribes to that notion. Not everyone believes you should lose your last match, but it was sort of a little bit of a tradition at one point. Seems to have gone a little bit out the window now. But if you think about like Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, I'm sorry, I love you, and he puts him down and he beats Ric Flair at WrestleMania. I mean, it's no one looks at that and goes, oh, it sucks that Ric Flair lost. It's perfect. You would not change it. So I kind of feel that to me is how wrestlers should go out. So equally, if Ricochet is not retiring, but he is ending his time with WWE, then having him put over someone like Bron Breakker, who needs building up, needs putting over, like Bron putting him through just shows how vicious Bron is. That's going to help Bron in the future. So it's kind of a, thanks, Ricochet. Thanks for doing that. on your way out, you know, massively appreciate it kind of a thing. If he was staying, maybe we wouldn't have done that. Or maybe we would, but he would bounce back and he would kick Bron Breaker's ass. But instead, that's it. He's done. And I don't think we see him again. So interesting that you thought that was the wrong way of doing it. But I think the conversations had broken down. I mean, that's it. He'd made his mind up. He was done. He was going. So all that was left to do was figure out how do we send him off in a memorable way. Right. Rico said, I'm conflicted with Ricochet. You can make the argument WWE never used him, right? Including NXT. I thought he'd get a better shot without Vince. I wish him the best and all of the Meltzer 5 stars he can handle. He's now eligible as a non-WWE. That is true. Or all of a sudden, the 5-star bracket has been unlocked. You are correct. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know why we didn't mix it up. I don't know why we didn't change things. I don't know why we kept going with the same thing. I mean, maybe they were just sort of happy with what they had. Perhaps they were like, never cared about moving him up the cards. And it was just, you know, here's a high flyer that's really impressive and we can just use him on house shows and keep him around the mid card, give him the odd IC type, but perhaps there was never a dream or a plan to get him around world titles. It's shocking. I mean, I love Prince Puma, so I would have tried to have channeled that, but yeah, perhaps it was just never in the cards. MLW Flash said it was a good show apart from the crowd being quiet. Dean said Raw was good. Liv and Dom's story matches were good. Looks like Ricochet being written with him leaving, maybe for AEW. Really excited for next week and to see what we get from the Wyatt 6. Hayden said it was good Raw, very entertaining, especially being there in person, but I'm disappointed I didn't get your sign onto TV. Oh, Hayden, shout out to you, my friends. Well, listen, if you took a Wrestling Daze sign, it's not something that we ever ask for, because I'm not really a mark for myself, to be honest. But for those people that want to kind of show love to the community, pay respect to the community, because you know that if you join us on a regular basis and then use to see like a sign, then that's kind of like, it's a message to everyone in the community, really. It's like, I'm part of that community and, you know, I do understand it, but we never asked for it. But the fact that you even did it is, you know, so appreciated. And yeah, amazing. You get a like for that if it'll allow me. There you go. And honestly, they're hard to get at the moment. So, Hayden, shout out to you. Grant Thomas said, I loved how Ilja and Bron got to show what they can do on the main roster. Banger of a match. Loving the Chad Otis storyline. I think that Otis will snap at Clash. It'll be interesting, but I'm looking forward to a singles Otis run. Decent match between Drew and Balor. Glad there will be no Judgment Day at Clash. So buzzing for Friday, Saturday now, says Grant. Kian said, I'm curious with Ricochet now written off, with potentially allowing to let the remainder of his contract run down. Would you hope him and WWE find an agreement? If not, are we expecting to see Samantha leave too? Is it a possibility or long-term booking? I think he's done. He's handed in his notice and they've written him off. I don't think he changes his mind, because I don't think he's looking... I think he's looking at how he's been booked in general. So I don't think he's looking at like where he is specifically now. And, you know, they can make the odd promise and whatever, but unless they're going to promise him a world title run and all that kind of stuff, I don't know that he's interested, because he's looking at big picture. And big picture is his career has been pretty stagnant and stale throughout its whole WWE run. So it's going to take something real special to keep him around. I think he's done, to be honest. Do I think Samantha leaves? No. She might be tempted. You know, it definitely does open the door. I would say definitely no before. Now I'm just no, right? But it was definitely no before. I would say that her position is weaker now. because she definitely might want to go to AEW to be with him. So, yeah, interesting. But I think she stays. I mean, she's killing it. It's a bigger crowd. She's being seen a lot more. She's being featured on, the social media. I don't even know what the social media posts of AEW get, but they can't be as big as WWE's. I mean, her brand is flying what with being in WWE. It's difficult to walk away from that, but she could do it for love. Love makes people do stupid things. And I think leaving WWE, if you're Samantha Irvin and you've got a job potentially for life there, and you're kind of regarded as one of the best announcers since Finkel, right? People are saying that she's better than Lillian Garcia and all this, so she's right up there with being super highly regarded. She'll never be the Fink in my eyes, but she's right in the conversation for being one of the best since. And, she could throw all that away for love. Couldn't be me. So, we'll have to see kind of how it goes. But no, I'm not expecting her to leave. Kelly said, the day of reckoning close at hand, the QR code seems becoming less involved, which is sad. I love the mystery of it all, but knowing what's coming makes it all okay. Tonight's Raw was pretty cool. Poor Zelina almost got her arm pulled off when Braun raised their hands. Love when Zelina pushed Liv into Dom. Bron Breakker and Ilja was a brutal match, but the aftermath with Ricochet had me speechless. I felt so bad for Samantha. I thought it was 7 out of 10, says Kelly. Gio the Theo said, in my opinion, the Liv Dom story is the main story, keeping me coming back to Raw. The story to me has been the most engaging, and to be honest, I might have missed a few episodes if the story stopped. I might have missed a few episodes if the story... Oh, really? So you might have stepped away if the story had not been as engaging. That's interesting. Right, well, we've done all those, and now we just wait to see if my internet is going to actually work. See if we've got any quote tweets. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I don't know what's going on here and why we're struggling so much with loading this up. See if we can go back. Let's try again. You quote tweets. Yeah, I mean, what I would say is it's probably best to not quote tweet. Seems like we've lost connectivity. Oh, well, there we go. We may never know. My endless issues with technology continue. So there we go. We'll end it there. Appreciate the support, my friends. This obviously good to be doing an opinions video. We didn't get a chance to do one. Boom. Didn't get a chance to do one on Friday, so good to be back doing them. I will get another question up for you guys over the next couple of days, so keep an eye out for that. And of course, we'll be doing opinions maybe Friday. Hopefully we can get one in. I think we will definitely have to Clash though, and I think we'll be doing a special Wyatt 6 live stream on Sunday, because whatever we get on Saturday, it will be the eve of their arrival, so we'll be doing a special stream on Sunday. Here we go, just one. Harry said, Otis turn will be wild. Wonder what they will do with him after the turn. Liv and Dom will somehow get involved in Damian's match, I guarantee it. Wonder if Samantha is going as well as Ricochet. Big loss if so. Thoughts on how McINTYRE match goes? Hope you're well. I think we'll... he's not winning. I think there'll be outside interference. For the longest time, I thought CM Punk. Now we're getting closer. I think Judgment Day probably does make more sense. I think I would have needed Drew to have done something to Punk on the go home. Means that Punk then needs revenge or wants revenge. Kind of, if he does it now, it's going to seem a little out of the blue. So, and we already know those Scottish fans are going to be right behind Drew. So I think maybe Judgment Day interfering would be the better option. Either way, I expect Damian to retain. And I think Drew's going to get screwed. And I think Punk will be there and he's going to gloat and there's going to be some sort of interaction. So I see it going that way. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support. See you again next time. Bye for now.